Alright, y'all, I'm back. Trying to push out this karmic spread, or whatever the case may be. Because I tried to do it earlier, and I feel like my message just wasn't pressing through. I feel like I wasn't being my authentic self. I feel like I had to limit it back, and it was just like, no. So, here we go. So, we're finna try it again, or whatever the case may be. And I think this time is going to be right, though. Or whatever the case may be, I really think it's gonna be right though. So we got a full card spread. We're gonna go into clarifying that, and then boom. I don't think it should be that long. 4 questions it is. The first one is gonna be how your karma is being playing out. The second one is the challenges that is being invoked for you to solve. The third part is your past life connection. And the fourth one is grace that could be invoked so you could be able to resolve your karma. So let's go. Alright, we just need 4 cards. Damn, off the bat. Page 1's on the bottom of the deck. I'm like, shit, did I shuffle it? Ooh. 4 of Pentacles for the first one. Second card, you got 9 of Cups. Oh, this is the 3. And this is the last one, grace. Slow down. I just want to get to know you. What we got on the bottom of the deck? Ooh. No. I ain't gonna let them throw me off. I'm not. Alright, okay. First card out. We got karma that is being played out. In situations you may be forced. It's kind of like the same thing, though. It kind of was. But I just didn't feel like the enthusiasm that was in my voice. They usually just give off the messages. So I was like, it didn't feel like me. But karma that's being played out, you got the 4 of Pentacles. So somebody may be forced to let go of certain things, old habits, old situations, old thinking. You just may feel like it's just you against the world in this type of moment. You could be experiencing some sort of losses, whether it comes to home, connection, it just gives me like a decluttering process or whatever the case may be, but it's how it's forcibly being ripped from you in this type of moment. But we're going to clarify this though as we move on down, though it really is. But it just gives me like an aggressive type snatch, get over here, Mortal Kombat type style, and saying, no. So you may be trying to keep tethered to certain things, and it's kind of like you may be trying to be keeping things close to you, and it's kind of like, no. And you may feel like this, like, damn, every time I'm picking something up, it keep dropping. And it may be you saying, well, you need to let go of this because you need to be able to grab this. So this is this. That's why I said energy different, though. Challenges that it's a main challenges that you are being forced to be able to resolve. This 9 of Cups energy, like that's that sitting and waiting, that sense of the acknowledgement or whatever the case may be, challenges where you maybe have to be tested with a sense of patience. That's what it kind of gives me, or whatever, keeping the sense of the focus, like trying to stay, okay, all right, like staying focused or whatever the case may be. Because me, I can do 50 things at once and then it all get done and you sit back and you watch it. It could draw somebody who is like order driven, it could drive them nuts, but to me it doesn't. And if you fuck up my flow, it'll be like, so it's like it's the chaos within this moment. It's like you gotta work with each area. I'm telling you this. So this may be it though. Like you hear me say, keeping a sense of patience and a wholeness of like working on you or certain things. Like sometimes when we seek outside ourselves for certain people to say, hey, do you understand? Do you see it? Do you see it? You know how little kids be, hey mom, I did a backflip. You want to see it? You want to see it? Like that type of energy. So it could be these sense of challenges. But we're gonna go back and clarify that out. Past life connection, this is the 8 of Wands. Like this is you being in a position where you hear me say the fast going into certain things. For is this like the karma playing out? This could be this though, like forcibly picking shit up or just constantly losing things. So say for instance, if you didn't grow up in an environment where we talk about that poverty mindset to where you kind of like, I'm gonna get this job so I can be able to get this and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this, like those type of situations. Oh yeah, like fast acting situations to where it's kind of like, no. So this is what you hear me say, like the past life connections of certain things. Well, I think I should do it. I don't know. Or yeah, like rushing forward towards in situations or whatever. And it may require like a sense of patience where you hear me say this 9 of Cups energy where you're able to keep a consistent faith and believing in what it is that you're trying to achieve. All right. a grace that could be invoked in this moment. You got the Chariot energy in reverse, so it could be to slow down. Like, it really does give me like the horse. Like, I think a horse, don't quote me, but I think a horse can go up to like 80 miles an hour or possibly even faster. Like, it probably can. But it can't go up to 80 miles per hour. But just imagine if you're not trained to ride on the sense of a horse. And just imagine if you got two horses at the same entire time going like like really, really fast. So this is what it is. Like, you hear me say grace, that you hear me like seeing things as victories. Like, most people, you hear me say, when they're going through certain challenges, situations, they always see how can they win. They win. And my last karmic cycle, you hear me say, being tethered to a psychopath. This motherfucker was always trying to win everybody, people, certain things. And for me, it gave me time to be able to step back and see, okay, what is the fucking problem? Like, why does this nigga always need to win? Like, he can't never sit down. It was this because of the Nine of Cups energy, like not having like this anticipation, like the urgency. Do you see it? Do you see it? And like, that's in most cases where it was like every time when it needed to be seen, that's when it was like, ugh, I gotta let this go again, or I'm constantly experiencing those sense of losses. So this is how I was like looking like, nigga, just let it go. Like, that's what it is. And it just wouldn't let it go, especially that big earth energy. Like, before I was coming on, the song that was in my head is, oh, save for the red, black, and blue. Like, go listen to that song. And the song is all about, like, his love for America, like, how it loves you, like, how it loves it. Like, it's a patriotic song, or whatever the case may be. Don't ask my view standpoint on the government issues. But it's the point of that it's, like, the act of humanitarian. But you hear me say, red is the feistiness, while I was saying this is fire energy. White will be considered calming in the emotions. I said the swords would be for me to be blue, because that's kind of like to be in a sense of nobility. You mesh it all together. What does they get? That gives you purple. And purple would be what I said, as least royal finances, first stability, pentacles energy. That's just me. That's what I was thinking about, because the song kept popping up in my head every time I wanted to do like a karmic type reading. I was like, what the fuck? Why does this keep popping up in my head? So I had to go research, and I was just like, okay, this is the lyrics. This is what they're saying. Okay, just break down the colors, concepts. You get the message. Like, that's what it was. So grace that could be invoked out, you hear me say, it's just learning how to slow down. Like, you can accomplish a lot at a slower pace, or when you're thinking clearly and you know what it is that you want. But most people, you hear me say, just be moving so fast. And I told you, like, I'm a turtle, literally. I'm a turtle, like very slow. I always tell people, slow and steady, we're in the race. It ain't so fun when the rabbit got the gun. I used to tell people that all the goddamn time. I used to say that, and they be like, why does she keep talking in these riddles? I don't even know, but it just comes out like that way. But that's me. So we gonna clarify these four. This Four of Pentacles, I kind of want to use these, the same window. So we're going to see what this Four of Pentacles about this karma being played out. Damn it. Shit. And then, too, I kept getting for his relationships aspect. Like, I was like, oh, shit. And I don't know what people think when somebody say relationships. Look at that Six of Cups. I don't know if people know when it comes to, like, relationships, how people just always be thinking, like, I'm talking about like being in love and like marriages and commitment. Like, you do know you can have like platonic soulmates and friendships before they turn into interpersonal. Interpersonal doesn't necessarily mean a romantic connection. It's just kind of like best friend type energy. So yes. But anywho, you got Six of Cups on the bottom of the deck. We're gonna see what this Four of Pentacles is. Two of Cups, Ace of Cups, and the Two of Pentacles. Ooh, you gotta give a little bit to be able to receive. I don't know where the hell that came from. Wait. And then you got the Strength, the Ten of Pentacles reverse, and the Page of Swords reverse. This is here, though. You hear me say being able to let go. And somebody may be forced with a control type issue. I wanted to say that, though. Like, it could be the apparent of nature of trying to constantly force that fast type energy or connections or business. Or you hear me say getting into situations that ain't really thought out. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a slugger, but at the same time, I gotta see what it is I'm working with. So it may comes off like a hard no at first, but it's really not a no. I'm just trying to see what the hell I gotta do. Like, literally, that's me. So it could be like, what do you think? What do you think? Like, those type of things. And it'd be like, nigga, I'm trying to see. But this here is like being forced to let go, where you may be in this karmic cycle, where you may be recognizing certain relationships. I'm gonna plug their blog post and my link in my bio or whatever the case may be, because I just posted about this, which is so ironic. But this is here, you hear me say, trying to restore certain connections and not knowing what it is that you could do. Or it could be like old past relationships that you hear me say that you let go, that you let go in those moments due to this sense of pressure. Why did I watch that? I gotta stop watching people shit. But it doesn't give me that though. 10 of Pentacles and a Page of Swords though, like unknowing, like where do you stand? But it does give me that walking into these situations. And the Strength though, reverse. It's kind of like pride, ego. And you hear me say that Leo energy is a giver and being in coexistence with the pack. Sometimes certain people don't know how to build families or build relationships or coexist or know what friends are or partnerships or business, like all those different things. So this could be the reason why you're being able to let go of, but somebody may be focused on the hurt, like more of the emotional aspects of certain things that did not happen or do not go the way they need them to go because they didn't appreciate it. I'm feeling really unappreciated. Or it may be deciding to date different, especially when it comes into like karmic cycles, especially poverty mindset though. Like it could be this though. Like for real, like what was I watching? I was watching something today and this lady, what was it? I was watching Jane the Virgin. She was talking about that. Her grandma was talking about how she knew her granddad for 41 days and they got married. I remember a lady I met at Enterprise, which was years ago, back in 2010. I don't know why I'm telling you this. She said she met her husband and I think they had been together for a long time. She was like, they knew each other for like 3 or 30 days to be 3 months to 3 months or 30 days. And she said she got married. And you see this all the time. I'm telling you, with light-skinned people, we be like, what the hell? And sometimes it actually works. And some people think the decisions that you making are actually stupid because it goes against like the pack or the people, you hear me say, or a person that you hear me say you rely on a sense of judgment or the alpha. That's what it kind of gives me the control issues. But we're going to see what other messages come out along the way. All right. So we're going to push that up there. 9 of Cups energy, where you hear me say practicing that sense of patience, needing to be seen, sitting in your own emotions, understanding, working on you, stacking your own cups, what works for you, that don't works for you, pros and cons, all those different things. My bad. Let's see what comes out though. It seems like nothing don't want to come out though. I was about to say, wait a minute, it seems like shit don't want to come out. Ooh. Hermit mode. Yes, that's what it is. Every time you hear me say I see this hermit energy, I always say the hermit looks so old. They make him look so old because, like they say, maturity comes with age. Sometimes it's not for people, but it's certain circumstances that grow you through certain experiences that make you feel like you old. So you can gain that sense of wisdom from it to be like, okay, well, I understand now. Because you got Hangman, 4 Cups, and the Judgment. Yes, this is you. You hear me say this is you in that sense of like needing to let go of certain things that may or may not didn't work out for you, that probably wasn't stable in those senses. Like the challenges, you hear me say, that may need to be resolved. You hear me say with cutting your losses and certain things. Or it may be you just hanging upside. Like you hear me say, every time I see him, y'all, like he just looking like he got one leg tied up, the other free. Look at that. And it's just more like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I being tethered to this situation? You got 4 Cups and the Judgment reverse. That energy, especially with karma, that's what you hear me say need to resolve. Like especially when I see the 4 Cups, I think of this energy. You can dish it, but you can't take it. I like not saying that energy. Let me just tell you, my shadow used to love to fuck with people like this. People who could dish it but can't take it. And I don't do stuff like that no more because karma does come back to life. And yeah, but I'm saying, like, this is stuff I used to do to people. Like, they couldn't dish it, but I would take it right back to them. Like, here you go ahead and take that shit. Like, you wanted me to eat it, like, forcibly, and did not care. So in those type of moments, you hear me say, especially when you go without or trying to heal, like, this is where you hear me say, like, okay, well, this didn't work, but I found this that did work. And this, like, most people, when they're trying to heal or fix situations or resolve, they try to fix it in a way that serves them, and it's not being realistic. So you got the Moon, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Knight of Swords. Man, why am I talking like I got a lisp? I don't even know why I'm talking like I got a list. Look at the Knight. Look at the Ace of Pentacles and the Moon. Like, this is situations where you hear me say, like, your character is really built when you can't get the shit that you really want. I'm telling you, like, you see it, you can manifest it, you can feel it. Like, it's just, this is where character is really built to where you can, like, I need it. And it's kind of like, that's what you hear me say, trying to resolve things to keep versus actually learning. Like, that's that earth energy being stubborn and ripped upon from you. Or you may be trying to say, hey, I'm trying to get the same thing. Well, I just want us to get a sense of clarity. And clarity may not be the option. It may just be this person acting an asshole because they are an asshole. Or they going through something and they need to go through that, like, individually. So you hear me say this year is about individuality, learning for you, figuring out what it is that you need outside of family, outside of friends, outside of careers. Like, what is it that you need before you go try to partner up with people? Okay, past life connections. This is the Eight of Wands, where you hear me say, well, we was talking about that poverty mindset, or people who just rush into getting into situations, or always doing so much. That's what just kind of gives me, like, doing so much. Well, it could be taking shit along with you, though. Like, it really does give me that, like, taking shit with you. Like, it's going in a forward direction. That's why I say it's like needing to let go of certain things. It's like going in a forward direction. It really is, though. 8 is all about new beginnings, or whatever the case may be. Like, especially striving forward and moving forward. You hear me say, can be broke down into 2. So it could be that harmony and that peace. But it could be, like you hear me say, the people, situations, or things. I'm trying to see what's going to come out, y'all. That's why I don't like talking when I'm shuffling, because I haven't been said what the fuck it is, but I know y'all be wanting to see some cards. So I'll be like, just show them the cards, because I don't like saying it. Sometimes I don't. Oh, say 7 of Wands. There we go. That's why I said moving forward, cutting back, taking losses, shortening yourself. We went from 4 to the 9 to the 8. And I think in a weekly reading, I said this, though, I was like certain relationships with people. And I feel like that should have been a monthly reading instead of just a weekly, though. But it was just like taking certain things with you and learning, like, oh shit, like they take from me, or I do bad all by myself, versus people who add to you, and not in a monetary sense. Okay, but let's go, because you got 6 of Pentacles. Look at that, breaking it down to a 2. Okay, the Sun and the Death reverse. Like, this is, you hear me say, the past life connections. This is you hear me say, like, when it comes to, like, fast acting of situations, because you hear me say, this is this, like, poverty type mindset. Like, it really is, like, pessimism with situation. When I see the 6 of Pentacles, I think of the breadcrumbs, because in other hands, like, those where you hear me say, people have to learn the difference between being a philanthropist. And the number 8 is also about humanitarianism, spiritual enlightenment, awaken. Like, you can Google all these different types of things where you hear me say it's sort of a humbling. And I typed this up on my blog. I'm gonna put both of the links there. But the humbling is more of like what people have to go through situations to recognize in that area of being humble. Like how we be wanting people where you say, well, go take away from the rich, don't take from the poor. And they may have like the horrific experiences with humans to where they recognize it's kind of like, yeah, this is you. This is you. Like, this is your type of energy. But that's where you hear me say, like, 6 of Pentacles just give me where you hear me say he's giving in an instance to bring a sense of balance. But now the card is up reverse. It's kind of like, what is he giving to? Like, that's where you hear me say that need, that show boasting, people who are lesser than you. Or it's how you view people that's probably lesser than you. You hear me say, like, fast acting. Like, people can play possum. I want you to know that. You got the sun and you got the death in reverse. Like, this is like pessimism about change and thrusting forward. Like, you hear me say, especially when it comes to spirituality, so many people be trying to fast act through certain things and their mind don't even be ready for what it is that they ready for. So putting them in a position to say, I want to be whole, I want to call back pieces of my I want to bring back those broken, fragmented pieces of my soul. People be really pissed. They get mad when they have to see all the chaos and the drama that they bring within themselves. Temperance and the Three of Swords and the Fool. Like, this is here where you hear me say the impatiency. This is the soul energy. That's the Three of Wands and the Fool. Like, that's people you hear me say in most cases where they get stuck in situations and then wanting some way out of it, like literally because they were possibly folly when they walked into it. So the past life connections could be you or someone else that you hear me say in your past life that made decisions based off the lack of what they had now, that it put them in the mind frame of, oh shit, I really don't want this, like that. I'm telling you. Like, if you think I'm lying, I'll give you one example. My grandma was a little girl who couldn't read and write. And so she had to rely on masculine energy in her time. So when she chose a masculine energy, she chose him based off the fact that he could provide. Not because he was a parent, not because he was a good parent, not because he was smart, not because he was witty. She chose him off the financial gain. So with her doing this, and when it comes to like family, and I learned women choose men off what they have and not for who they are. And like when I run into people who value people based off what they have or what they are, it's very funny to me because that's like a poverty mindset of people who come from the lack of versus getting to know people. This is why the Six of Pentacles, the philanthropist, and the sun and the death is here. Because it's like people always take from you, but it's kind of like in those moments you're abusive with self or when it comes to certain things. So that's like the past life connections where you hear me say, I was like, oh, some of y'all be into spiritual practices. Certain people where you hear me say entities calling up certain spirits and they be attached to you trying to force they fucking mission on you. And you like, hold up now, you ain't even supposed to be over here. Like, this is my existence. Like, I'm just supposed to heal the bloodline or fix what I need to. I ain't supposed to live out your life. It's mine, you know? Because sometimes certain spirits will forget that, though. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. Your grace, the Chariot energy where you hear me say slow down. Sometimes you can't win everything. Three of Swords. That's that slow down type energy. Slow down. Slow down. If you want to know the cards we got Scorpio, we got Chariot. We got Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, and Leo. If you want to know, in Sagittarius energy. Seven of Swords. Ooh. It just gives me like you robbing yourself blind. Like somebody may be robbing you, or you robbing yourself blind from certain situations or connections or how you may be connecting to people or conversing. That's what it gives me though. Like when it comes to grace, like a lot of people try to extend those to others and not extend that to themselves. Like they really do. I'm telling you, they really do. Look at the new soul contracts coming in. Force, love, and connections. Ooh, wow. I'll see. Do we get some more? Not that many. Ooh, and then it got the Justice, but I don't want to pull what's up under there. Alright, okay. But grace that could be invoked. Like Three of Swords. You got Three of Swords, the world. You got Three of Swords, Seven of Swords, and the world. And we're going to put that on the bottom. Those two. You would say needed to look at your own mess. Like most people be in a situation where you hear me say trying to conquer. Like in the blog post I post about how what I say, like people who deal with heartbreak, they become scorned and they want to wish things bad on people. You hear me say, and not recognizing if they don't learn from it, they end up growing. They have to end up growing through the same cycles to say, okay, I get it. I really get it now. Like you hear me say the alchemy working with the four elements, even though it's fixed sign energy, is still like being fixated on you, what it is that you need. What are you putting into these new cycles? You got Five of Pentacles being crossed. You hear me say, I feel like this is the crucifixion when it comes to certain things. And especially with the Justice being, especially with the Scorpio energy being reversed, this is some matter where they playing with them and they self when it comes to certain people and situations. So it's kind of like you 1 foot in, 1 foot out, especially when it comes to finishing certain things or when it comes to you overall. So it's like, I'm in, but I'm out. You got self-love, freeing yourself from like bondage, oppressive, like this is certain things, like walking into that. It could be you. This cycle doesn't even necessarily have to be love. You see, it's 3 people. This is like you, the old you, and the higher you, light, dark, shadow, whatever you want to say. I don't know. But this, you hear me say, this is like new agreements, contractually, fixated, certain things. That's what it is. But let's see, though. You got Ace of Wands, 4 Wands, and the Justice. Yeah, it's just patience, though. Some of y'all don't want to build, you hear me say, with grace. Like, don't want to extend that same thing to others. Like, this one thing that I had to learn, mysteriously, when it came to, what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to make it more relatable. I learned that I had to be loved on the worst days, even when I didn't want to, when people wasn't being loving to me in order to be able to receive it back, and not from a space of saying, like, I need you to give me this. It was like, they don't owe me shit. But at the same time, it was like cognitive enough of all these losses and certain things that I experienced with certain people to where it's like, you're not going to take advantage of me. But this here is independently, where you hear me say, so working on you with grace and like patience when it comes to connecting and building those partnerships to see that you're one and matters too. But if you're around people in the 6 of Pentacles energy, you hear me say, that's giving just to bring, you hear me say, giving just to bring some sense of peace within them. That's a whole different story. But in this season is you working on, you hear me say, this grace of dealing with, like you hear me say, the Cancerian energy, the home, the nurturing, the family, relationship aspects, how you interact with other people, yourself. It's like, what is it that you need for your sense of home? Like sometimes it take one by one. Like one by one. It's not, yeah, let's go out here and gather all of them and see if they work. They may not be sturdy. They may not have the same passion. They may not have the same, I want to say driven to be able to do this though. So that's real. I'm telling you. That's why I don't like people being in my business. I'm telling you. Learn how to keep people out your business. But, I like that though. I really do like this though. That's why I say I really do like this though, especially with this. Wait a minute. I like this though, because some people can see like the feet of type matters or things like this moving at a slow pace, like nothing is working. What they say, slow money is still money. Period. And it doesn't have to be like in a monetary sense, but it's like slow money is still money. When you ain't being honest and cognitive about the certain things you do, 7 versus that, like the partnerships, cahoots, relationship, peace within self, that's when it seems like it's an L. Like over time, like this card could have just came out just like that, but it just said, no, I'm just gonna do this. So all these wins, which 3, 1, 2, 3, that looks like L's because of heartbreak, betrayal, backstabbing, slowness, overtime, achy, the emotional aspects can look like a fucking L, but it's really a win. But it's like you don't want to give into a space of, or you hear me say, honoring parts of you or sense of love or connection to go higher within yourself. But let's see if anything else comes out though. But I really think this message is hit on the mother. I really do. I really do though. 6 of Pentacles again. Oh shit. Let's see what this 6 of Pentacles energy are about though. Like since they want to just keep coming out. Ooh. 6 of Pentacles and you got the 10 of Swords. Some of y'all may be abusive with yourself or certain situations or certain people, like you hear me say, especially when it comes to draining or certain aspects. The first thing that you hear me say, the first reading that I had did, it was about going about getting some sense of help. And most people don't know how to get help because in those type of places or in your last karmic cycle or dealing with people when it comes to getting help, they took advantage. They took advantage of who you was. Like, they took advantage. So you may have to butter them up, or you feel like you had to do a lot. And it was just like, no, just ask. Like I tell people all the time, I'm open book, just ask. If you don't ask, shit, that's you. And that sounds mean, but it's like, hey, it is what it is. Like, you, that's on you. You got Wheel of Fortune, Page of Cups, and the Nine of Cups. That's why I said I like the pages, though. You hear me say I like the pages, though. Especially when it comes to inner child happiness or whatever the case may be, and honesty and truthfulness about this. Especially about the bad timings or certain cycles that you have had with people, whether it was making friends. Because you hear me say the inner child can believe anything, you can make friends with anybody, play nice or whatever the case may be. But when you operate in it too much, that's when you can be abused by certain people and certain substances to where you lose hope and faith along the way. But that's honesty. Ten of Cups, Scorpio, and the Hierophant. And I said this too in the first reading. I was like, this energy here, when it comes to your happiness, sometimes you hear me say when it comes to letting go, especially with the Ten of Pentacles, we be wanting other people to learn with us. Like, we really do. We want people to learn with us, not against us. We be wanting them to go into a sense of transition with us, and they don't. Like, some people really don't learn. It's kind of like, you may be like the chosen one. Like, not saying like that, but it's like, yeah, you may be though. Out of your whole bloodline, you may be the chosen one. And that's a lot. To where you gonna deal with blowback, hate, disdain, or whatever. For sometimes you have to go outside the elements of old environmental factors where it didn't work, where poverty, argumentative, unstable environments, conflict, feud, competition, all those different types of things. It really is. You got Four of Wands, Ten of Pentacles again, King of Cups, and the Four of Swords. That's why I said this got something to do with environmental factors, generational curses. Environmental factors, if you don't know, those how you were raised or things that impacted you on your path. Or it could be the relationships as in now. So say, for instance, if you coming out of some sort of relationship, a marriage, or marriage, staying with somebody, shacking, whatever it is, it's those type of things. And then with the Hierophant, you hear me say reverse, it's kind of like roles reverse. So it's kind of like somebody or you or trying to make sure somebody's going through something. They are, or you may be going through your own type of things. Like, this is the King of Cups, like unwilling to be able to receive certain things, especially when it comes to the masculine energy, and I want to take a sense of emotional responsibility, just wanting to be, well, I need to do this, and that Eight of Wands, like, that's really real. It real though, especially for feminine energies a lot. So that's the Four of Swords, guilt. Ace of Swords though, look at that though. Challenging the metaphysical, the way you think, the way you believe, the mind frame, cutting out, moving forward, and like decisions making, like being able to cut through. That's what I said. Somebody may be the chosen one. Who knows? Maybe. All right, y'all. When I get to 40 minutes, I'm gonna wrap this up because it took a long minute to upload. That's all I gotta say. Really do. Five of Swords on the bottom of the deck. You better fight for your life. I'm just playing though. Yeah. Look at that. On the bottom of the deck, you got five Queen of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. You better fight for your life. That's all I say. You better fight for your life. Especially here though. Or you could be in a fight for your life where it feels like when it comes to you and your emotional happiness though, how you give it away to certain people, or trying to rationalize and talk to certain people who are so gung-ho on being feisty or argumentative, that bait type shit. I'm surprised the Seven of Cups didn't come out though. I'm telling you, that's that bait type shit. So let's see. Again, love, like this ain't got nothing to do with love. Like it could be love, self-love, inner love, connections, or certain things. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's a relationship, dating outside the norm, interracial, or just differences, or needing to let go. But this is here. You hear me say problems within self-love or you in a sense of ascension. But Two of Cups did come out. That's why I said it's kind of like partnerships, paying grab with somebody else, doing something that's needed for you, or it could just be based around, you hear me say, the karmic relationships aspect of dating. Like problems, especially with that son, like having kids with men who don't aspire to have kids. Like they want to have them, but they don't want to take care of them, and then so we get mad at them for not doing what it is they say they didn't do. Or dating somebody and then having a baby by somebody who's not financially stable, but they get mad at them because they can't provide. Those type of things. When you hear me say with kids, or dating somebody young, like all those different types of things. Like you hear me say how we take the guilt and burdensome energy with us, though, like how we be like, oh man, well, I can do this, but you can now, or you will be able to. So that's that energy. Let's see what's on the bottom. Hermit and the Queen of Pentacles this way. Oh shit. Hermit and the Queen of Pentacles. Hermit and the Queen of Pentacles sideways. Like this here, this is the Queen of Pentacles energy, where you hear me say needing to be whole and fixed, the master of all signs, uses all, works with all, but it's just a fluctuating energy. Do I want to be focused on the material world, or do I want to be focused on me, healing me? Because people act like when you become so spiritual, you trying to ascend or you trying to heal certain shit, like you not going like nice things, which you really is. Some people just choose to opt out of that, but that does not mean that that's not you. Like it's not gonna have faults, traits, mistakes, and all those different types of things. Some people just be so focused looking at the message or what they're trying to be. So that's where you could be fluctuating. You hear me say, well, I'm gonna bounce back, I'm gonna do this, but it's coming from a minor narcissistic type way, or mirroring like a sociopathic type way, where I don't like this manifesting bullshit where you gotta pretend you something to get something you not, and when the universe want they payback and they want you to be that motherfucker who you is, it tries the shit out of you because you said you was this. People feel to recognize that. That's why I was like, no, I don't like that. Like sometimes I do like fake it till you make it. Sometimes you gotta get up in the morning and say today is not gonna be a bad day, but you can't keep on saying that shit if you don't want to be it. Empress, Nine of Wands. This is the Three of Swords. This you hear me say, like this is here. You hear me say all energies working together, being healed, learning how to be vulnerable, and like taking accountability for these aspects, like nurturing your own wounds. Don't lick your wounds, but nurture your wounds. You're not an animal. You're not an animal. Some of y'all may be living like an animal, for real. Three of Cups, Ace of Wands, and the Page of Swords. Boom. They'll go those three. It could be you hear me say needing to let go of friends. Like, because I know a lot of people are going through that. Like, I went through that in like 14, though. But it's weird how people operate on that frequency where you hear me saying this day and age when it comes to people. I say you best out building a relationship than a fucking friendship this day and age. Especially when it comes to feminine energies. Because I said feminine energies, especially when it comes to straight women, are like dudes. I'm telling you, like the way they operate with other women. I'm not talking about flawed. But they be like full on dudes, like how they move, how they act. I'm not talking about if she's like raunchy, ghetto, carnal. No, I'm talking about like how they handle people. So that may be you, like needing to release certain friends, needing to be like saying, and it's like compartmentalizing friends because you really don't see a lot of masculine energies really just popping out this deck. So it could be you learning how to take control. Page of Swords, especially learning, because you got Two of Cups, the Star, and the Devil. That's possession. This is like possessive, holding, trauma bonding, the dark, not being able to see the light, feeding a sense of monsters, straddling two sides. So this could be you, like you hear me say, you can't serve two masters. If you want to be healed, but you still doing shit that triggers you, or things who cause ruptures, like cosmic ruptures within you, it's kind of like you can't sit up here and get mad when you keep feeding that monster. So you hear me say you can't feed that monster raw meat and then say I'm gonna give you a bowl of cereal. Nah, I want the raw meat, and that raw meat could be whatever hurt you or abuse you, and people just don't be accountable for that. Five of Cups and the Two of Cups energy. This is here. I it's hurting here. Like, even though I talk about this, what's behind you could be greater, but it's also being truthful about what did you leave behind. Sometimes we be so focused about what didn't line up in the front that we feel like we can constantly return to the back, and it's constantly telling you, no, you need to see why you put what was in the back. Like, what was the prize position in it to you to be realistic enough to say, you know what, I probably don't need it no more. And sometimes people don't come to that realization because you got 7 of Wands on the bottom of this deck. I ain't even touched it. 9 of Pentacles, this is where that me, where you hear me say, even though it's individuality, a lot of people are learning how to be good team players. You got 8 of Pentacles, you hear me say, I'm going to do the work, I'm going to do the work, I'm going to do the work. People reaping your benefits. 8 of Swords, releasing yourself from a sense of pain. 7 of Pentacles, things just not coming the way you need them to. The Wheel of Fortune, finish. I was going to say, all this total up to 10, by the way. So it's just new cycles. So it's like, if you're trying to get a new cycle, why do you keep putting in the same thing? Look at the King of Pentacles. That's why I said there's somebody, you hear me say, needing to work on your masculine energy. If you are feminine energy, or whichever one you operate more into. If you operate in your feminine energy where you always nurturing and kind to other people, putting yourself last, you can opt to be like selfish as fuck. Like, people fail to recognize that when you're so busy trying to do, somebody always gonna be shortchanged in this 5 of Cups energy. And then, like, when your creator, whoever you believe in, or a person finally finds out what their worth is, they don't want to fuck with you no more. And people can't get mad though. So you can opt to go on a change or whatever the case may be, but that doesn't mean it's real. It doesn't mean it's real. So that's why you hear me say this could be like karmic type situations, because people act like karma, like you hear me say, I put in the blog, it's just relationships, especially when it comes to relationships. Oh, this is my lover, this is mine. No. Stop worried about them. Like, that shit just really just aggravates the shit out of me though. It is, though. It really does. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm angry. What's 8 of Cups energy? Not wanting to see things for what they are. Not wanting to take a moment to look at your own emotions. Like, most people just think if you see the 8 of Cups, it's put down, oh, they walked away. No, it took them a minute to walk away because they seen what fucking played out. Most people just be thinking, like, when you watch readers, like, because some people, y'all just be coming just for the cards that people pull out just to see, okay. No. Like, it has a meaning, and it depends on how that person is tapped into, whoever they tapped in, or whatever the message is. But this is, you hear me say, somebody that don't want to go within to see some sort of understanding and take that emotional accountability. That could be the masculine energy, where you hear me say, even if you're a female, where you like, no, I'm good. Look at this, King of Wands, the Fool, the 8 of Swords, and the Queen of Cups. Like, this energy here, like, that's impulsive. Like, not being grounded in your emotions, like being so emotionally driven when it comes to situations, trying to free yourself from certain things, and you don't care how or what you do to get out of it. Where you hear me say that 6 of Pentacles in the past, where you may have to butter up to certain people to get what it is that you needed, or being abusive to certain people, or your own emotions or certain things, because it's kind of like, okay, and then becoming like a ticking time bomb. Hangman reverse again. This is the Sun, the Hanged One, and the High Priestess. Empress could mean like attachments to certain things though, because a mother, you hear me say, like the nesting phase, like a mother with their child, they don't be wanting to let their child go, especially if they know they didn't do right or by them. If they did or didn't, they don't be wanting to let it go. This is the Sun, this is the Hanged One, this is the High Priestess. Like, this is knowing you gotta like mercy kill something, and it's not like in a sense of a death. It could be like, man, I gotta let this go because it don't even work for me no more. Even you know it. Like, this is your intuition where you know it. I'm saying, it's times where I used to be sitting around people when I used to have lower vibrational friends or people didn't say, I'd be like, this bitch is really not my friend. I don't fuck with them like that, but I'm gonna just hang around them because I'm bored, baby. And I'm telling you, I used to think that shit so goddamn much. And then, boom. That shit happened, and I was like, what the fuck? But I knew it, though. But I was still so pissed in this King of Wands energy, like, how dare you betray me, when it was like, bitch, you betrayed yourself because your stupid ass kept sitting around. Like, that's what it was. Yeah, I think it's my time for me to get off. So you got 6 of Wands and the Knight of Cups here. Like, this is their pressure, like being unseen. Those are lower vibrational friends. That's there. They're like, yeah, let's do this. It's like, no, bitch. Like, I'm telling you, this is lower vibrational friends. That I hate that narrative though, how the yin and the yang don't work together. Like, not even saying like you gotta have a masculine energy, you go into a relationship that can provide for you in a material realm. But I hate that this like new wave of this, like saying how we can't coexist with each other. I'm so not like for us rappers, because that's their job, you know, the fuck. So I'm not talking about them, but like how the other women who push this and don't know how effective and how blind they leading people. I didn't say rappers because that's their job. That's their creativity of how they get out their sense of pain. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about how other people be like, girl, you independent. You don't, like, I don't like that energy, because like that's now the where the economy is, where you hear me say the red, black, and blue, the humanitarian energy, the 8, where people don't know how to look out for other people. I said the Gen Z generation do, but the 80 and back do not. Do fucking not. Like, they do not. It's either my way or the highway, because they get that shit from their parents and other people constantly being controlled. That's what I don't like that. Overall, you got the 6 of Cups. You hear me say those old contractual situations, healing, fixing certain things, knowing what it is of you. This could be your younger self, or how you viewed yourself of not knowing certain information that you do know now that you did not know. That's why I said the whole entire time, look at this high priestess. She knew. I'm telling you, like, this is me from down to my relationships, with family, with friends, with jobs, housing, move. I used to be like, like, I'm telling you, like, I used to sit there and, like, literally try to, like, smoke the pessimism away, thinking, like, shit, like, man, I'm gonna just get up tomorrow and I'm gonna just get high as hell, and, I'm rolling up a blunt and this shit just ain't gonna faze me. But I really fucking knew, like, I used to be like, damn. And then it used to take just one situation to happen. I'd be like, God damn. I'm telling you, I did. It was so fucked up. I think that's it, though. I think that's it, so I can wrap this up. I think that's it, so we can wrap this up. I'm glad I did this over, because the energy hit the whole lot a little better. I think I was kind of like emotionally blocked, and I think I'm about to tap out on those videos on the other platform, because baby, I'm fucking over it, like I really am. I'm like, ugh, I just want to take the fucking videos over it. I just want to take like a piece of paper over it. Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, 6 in the world. Look at that. And then too, stop judging people for who they are, because you don't know who may be your lifeline. I said that though. I used to say this all the time. I'd be like, I said we like the bus. I was like, if I pull up and you say you need this instance of help for it's like the bus aspect, and you rushing me and you doing all this different types of energy, and you don't let me access the scene before I can see if you trying to pull me into something, man, I'm dipping the fuck off, and we don't care. And I'm saying, me and everybody on that bus, if they could have just been in a ditch like next to you, they ain't gonna complain, because we got a destination to where we trying to go. So that's why I said this energy, like, don't judge your help, because a lot of y'all be trying to demonize people, and a lot of y'all come from their religious mind frame or whatever the case may be, and it stays saying the poor, or people not in the sense of poor, people who you view as poor got way more wisdom than you. Life happens way rougher at the bottom than at the top. Queen of Swords here, 5 of Swords, the Chariot in reverse, and the 7 of Pentacles. This is here. Queen of Swords, like you may be outsourcing looking for a Queen of Swords, and I hope not amongst these people, because, ooh, no ma'am. Like, no ma'am. Like, I'm not laughing because I'm about to say, girl, no ma'am, fuck them folks. Y'all know how I feel. But 5 of Swords, the Chariot, and the 7 of Pentacles, though. Like, this is you, like, needing some sort of guidance. That's why you hear me saying May comes in, but you may not know how to take it or what to do with it. But over time, because people just be wanting right now quick instant certain things, you hear me say that slow down process of, like, learning how to actually sow seeds of changing, like, in honesty. Like, the Queen of Swords is very honest. So it depends on, like you hear me say, it's being very honest. Like you being very honest. Like you may have to start out being your queen of swords before you outsource to somebody else. So that's honesty. Overall, we got the Three of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, the Four of Cups, and the Emperor. That's why I said some of y'all in this cycle got to learn how to use your masculine energy for good, or learn how to relinquish a sense of control. Because if you've been putting in the seeds and certain things can happen and it comes to a sense of help, your help may know how to run shit better than you. And people gotta recognize that though, like that's what you need help for, right? Especially in karmic cycles. But some people just be so focused on trying to say, it's me, and it's like, you gonna me the fuck away from you. Like, you know how you get those people, like, you can vent. I told you can vent, you can cry, but if it's just me for a long time, I'm gonna show you me out the fucking door. But this is Three of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. This is being like very uncompromising on knowing how to give. King of Pentacles energy, Virgo energy, you know, say reverting back to that giving humanitarianism, like that's knowing how to give and being able to receive as well. This is the Four of Cups, like risky behaviors and like being intolerable in certain situations and not being fair and recognizing like, oh shit, I went too far. But you hear me say the Emperor energy. This is somebody who could be, they don't wear their emotions on their sleeve. It can be hard to say, like it's like a poker match. So you may feel like it's you against karma, like in a biggest poker match at this moment where you feel like, God damn, I don't want to show my hand. But this is your hand. Uncompromising, unwilling to learn, stubborn. You hear me say emotionally, like you have to get emotionally stung to recognize like, okay, I went too far. And how many times is too far? Or how many times is certain people, you hear me say, are dating certain levels who are financially broke, or needing to pacify certain people, being attached to certain people who just don't value you. Especially when you step into Emperor mode, because Emperor mode doesn't always mean you're going to be some top dog millionaire, whatever the case may be. It's like, shit, you might have been broke, or whatever the case may be. You got your credit fixed, and now you got a house. You got a car, and you stable now. Like, that's your Emperor energy, or whatever the case may be. Like, people fail to value this, or whatever the case may be. So that's why I said, don't reject your help. But make sure you honor your help, and make sure you're honoring you, because if you've been sowing season at this time and certain things just ain't been happening, it's because you got to like relinquish some sort of control. But also, you know, like the High Priestess is upright twice in both decks. So I'm like, you know, nigga, like, my bad. I'm like, you know. So it's just like, it's the control aspect of needing to feel like I'm dominating it, but you are, but it's like, it's what you put out. So if you stuck and you putting it out, it's kind of like, hello, this is why the Queen of Swords saying this. But some people be so focused on trying to fight and hold on to. No. Because the Queen of Swords, this energy where you hear me say, she can take it. I said this before. I was like, the Queen of Swords, she can take this type of energy. Queen of Swords know her worth, especially when it comes to a hurt individual. But when it proceeds past hurt, and it go into malicious intent, the Queen of Swords also know how to break a person down. So that's what people really be scared of when they try to go to people who are very logical and understanding and empathetic, because they know they see through their bullshit, and at the same time they can do them bad the same way other people did them bad. And this is why a lot of people don't seek help from certain outside sources of people, because they ain't gonna let you abuse them, and they have to do what they have to do to defend for them. So that's why I said, if you're going to outsource to certain type of people, make sure you know. Because I'm telling you, the High Priestess is within. You know, most cases, like, you got to let go of certain things. Like, you may have been getting downloads. You may have been praying. You may have been researching, figuring things out. You may be researching, like, narcissist is an all-time high thing. You may be researching narcissists. You may be looking at somebody, well, I can't psychoanalyze them, but they do this. Well, you know, like, noticing certain things. Or, well, my friends only come around when I want to smoke and drink, but they really ain't there when I want to apply for jobs, or I'm talking about school. Like, that's realistic. That doesn't mean, like in most cases, for some people, the balance in you, regardless if you operate in your shadow or just on a lower vibrational frequency, those people still can serve you like some great lessons. People just be trying to throw them motherfuckers away like really quick and then just say, I'm over it. But it's kind of like, no, that you got to learn something from that right there. So I would say, you know. It's just all about what you don't want to know. So that's why I say, in this moment, dealing with it, I said I was going to do the spread at 3. I told you I had to stop because my energy wasn't right. So I went to the computer and I wrote it out. So I'm going to put the link in the bio for the humbling. I'm going to put the link in the bio for, what the fuck is that called? Karmic relationships. And it's more like interpersonal with my experience or whatever. And lately I don't really put box like that. But I was like, shit, can I vent? The fuck? Y'all vent with me all the time. So can I vent? The hell? So in those type of moments. So that's all I got to say. Remember I said don't reject your help. Don't reject your help because you don't know where your lifeline coming in at. Stop looking at people from a physical value and start looking at them from a higher. But it's difficult when you operate in lower vibrational frequencies. Anyway, so on that note, y'all, I gotta go. Cause I just gotta go, y'all. See y'all tomorrow. I might come back and might not go over there because I don't feel like it. I'm like annoyed with it. Boom.